But
Damn it, Pixar. What happened? Yeah, there's so many problems here. We could go on all day. It's bullshit. It's terrible. It's terrible. Stop.
So, hey Glenn, we're going to talk about Incredibles 2 today.
Yes.
I noticed you don't normally wear those sunglasses. Why are you wearing them today?
No.
Well, Glenn usually never wears the sunglasses inside, or especially for the movie reviews. But I'm sure everything's fine. Nothing changed about him. Everything's normal. He's probably the same old Glenn, aren't you, Glenn?
No. Yes.
Well, like baby Jack, I have telekinesis. I'm going to try to fix this situation. Here we go. It worked! Glenn!
What happened?
I don't know.
What's with these glasses? How'd I get here?
We're going to talk about Incredibles 2. Don't you remember?
No.
Well,
I'm confused.
if it weren't for those crazy glasses, you would have remembered. So we're going to talk about Incredibles 2 today. Glenn, real quickly, spoiler free, just for a few moments. What were your impressions?
Spoiler-free impressions. Positive. The voices were good. The animation was great. It had some very fun moments, mostly with Jack, but with other things. Action sequences were fun to look at. And that's it for positive. For negative, it was kind of a lazy, boring mess of a script. The story really is the problem. Everything else is pretty dialed in, but the story is just...
Well, we'll get into the details in a non-spoiler part.
Yeah.
But so, without spoiling anything, how would you recommend this movie? Would you recommend it? Would you have a caveat to that? Would you not recommend it at this point, before we get into spoilers?
I would give it a mild recommendation. If you have kids, they'll probably like it.
That's true.
And you might like it too. Like I said, it was enjoyable in places. It was fun. And if that's all you want, go get it.
Well, so my impressions, I got to throw this out. I got to be honest though. My impression's a little skewed because I fell asleep.
Yeah, you did.
And I was probably a good 10 or 15 minutes. I missed a good...
It was at least twice.
Yeah, I was dozing in and out, but I was pretty sure I missed about 10 or 15 minutes because I remember falling asleep sort of at one scene, and then when I recognized the next scene, the story completely, like, we were somewhere very different, so I thought, oh, some time must have passed, so I missed a little chunk of the movie, but...
It happens.
It doesn't happen in good movies. You know, Annihilation was a very slow-moving, slow-paced movie. Hereditary, some other movies that were very slow-paced. And Incredibles 2 is not slow-paced movie.
No.
It moves, it moves, it moves. But when a movie puts me to sleep, fast or slow, or any pacing of the movie, I start to feel that there's some problems. And it's... So I post, I like to tell my friends online about, what I thought of the movies, because they know that I'm a filmmaker, and so they're curious what I think. Especially if I rave about a movie, they want to know, because then they know that there's something really special about it, and they don't want it, to miss that movie.
Right.
But with Incredibles 2, and other movies, people ask, or I say what I thought of the movie on my social media, and then I get responses. Well, I enjoyed it. Well, I was entertained. I think you even got one of those this time. But I just want to say there's an experience of going to the movie theater, and if it's not ruined by the cell phone ringing, alarms going off, people turning the cell phone on with the bright light, distracting and moving around the theater while you're trying to watch the screen. You're trying to watch the screen, but then there's this light moving around, somebody texting. But in general,
babies making noise,
or
toddlers
bringing
asking questions.
We've had some bad experiences lately.
Fire alarms going off.
First fire alarm in
power outages.
all of my life. The first fire alarm.
Your entire life?
My entire life.
Yeah,
it's
same here.
A little thing we make fun of because you hear a lot of teens and kids saying, "My entire life." Well, you've been around that long. Yeah, so going to the movies is an experience. Usually I go with friends, I go with Glen, I go with my wife. Sometimes I do big movie nights with the big groups of friends. And so just the experience can be fun. And you can be entertained by entertaining moments in a film. But, and you can walk out of a movie too, and your initial impression is that it was kind of fun and entertaining. And after a little bit of reflection, you start to realize when you start piecing things together, especially if you see it again. And then there's some movies like this for me, when I walked out and I just instantly thought, nope, this just was kind of lazy writing, or if not late, I mean, it had to be lazy. How could it not be lazy? I mean,
had 14 years. This is what we got.
Well, I'll get into the details, but
so where are you with it?
I am.
Would you recommend?
I would just recommend it if you have kids,
okay.
And if you.
That's fair.
If you want to shut your brain off and go and have a few laughs, go for it, because it's way more entertaining than most big action or superhero movies. It has funny bits. It has some character moments, but. You'll see if we get to the spoilers if you want to watch them or not, if you've seen the movie or not.
Well, I think too, if you've seen the original, you really like the original. This is sort of just like a continuation, and you might be interested enough to see it, and you might enjoy it. So I would mildly recommend it on that level. You have kids, or you really love the first one. It's like you're probably going to see it anyway. So.
But I would say don't see it if you're looking for one of Pixar's really great movies.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like, especially nowadays, if you look at especially the recent catalog from Pixar, I don't know if they're 50-50 now or maybe 60-40, but they early in their establishment, of their movies, when they first started making movies, like every movie that came out was really good. And then I started losing interest like every other movie. I didn't really care for Coco. I thought it was kind of boring, although beautiful. One of the most beautiful, probably, of the
Coco
Pixar
was
movies.
amazing looking, yeah.
But they had that one where we were in the brain. What was that one called?
Inside Out.
Inside Out was great.
Very clever.
So they're kind of hit and miss nowadays, like a lot of studios. But this definitely.
I think it's more recent years. It's more, I don't remember exactly when, but Disney completely took over Pixar a few years ago, and you kind of can see it's very money grabby right now.
You can see Mickey's paws on everything.
Everything Disney does, just about. I mean, of course they want to make money, but hire a few someones who can write.
Some consultants would be good.
Come up with a story that's compelling and different than your first story.
I give a lot of leeway to movies that may not work that well, but are very original. Because for trying something original is really nice. And that's really, this is not a spoiler, but they did not try anything original here. Or not a lot, anyways.
Well, yeah, I mean, think of Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. It's kind of the same story. I mean, obviously we switch to different people he's trying to find, and adventure's a little different, but it's kind of the same story retold. I mean, how many stories can you tell about a fish? But with The Incredibles, first Incredibles movie is probably my favorite Pixar movie by a thin margin. It is so good. This is not that.
Spoilers. I don't want to do a synopsis on this one.
No. Let's make it quick.
I have a few things that are itching me. It's my opinion, and I think that we see this a lot in media, commercials, movies, that if you're a white male, you can make that person dumb, goofy, ignorant, and the butt of the jokes. He can be the asshole.
The dumb dad.
The dumb dad.
It's a cliche it's not anything new. It's been around for decades. The dumb dad. The dad who can't handle, oh my God, dirty diapers and
homework.
The kid has homework and I gotta cook. And not that stuff can't be challenging, but it's very cliche, I should say. Not a little bit. It's really cliched. And this movie does that.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot. To the deficit of that character, too, and just the storytelling in general. I wasn't entertained by, he's supposed to be fun and lovable and dumb, but he wants his family to fail. He doesn't... I
don't know. What do you mean he wants them to fail?
Well, he doesn't seem like he's really
like his wife?
Supportive of his wife that much.
Well, he's being downplayed as the big superhero, and that's the kind of the part of the whole shtick is that he's like, now he's the housewife or the Mr. Mom who, while she's out there, earning the keep or, doing these exciting missions that he wants to be doing, right?
Right.
I mean, that didn't bother me so much, but yeah, it's a cliche. It's been done. Mr. Mom, 30 years ago or something.
Well, and the idea that the man's going to stay home and take care of the kids is revolutionary. No, come on, it's 2018. This happens. I was really
all the time.
I was just really hoping with that part of the story so first off, it's not even justified why he stays home and why she's asked to go out. So here's what the movie says, as far as I could tell. He causes more damage, she doesn't, so we want her to be the mascot for superheroes to help show that superheroes should be made legal again. Is that about right?
Yeah. I just supposing here, I don't know exactly, I don't remember this from the movie, but it seems like maybe she was chosen for some reason other than just that. I think that was just supposed to be an excuse for why they chose her, and I'm trying to think exactly what it would have been. Maybe the villain, who was the sister of this brother and sister team of not team, but this brother and sister, owners of this mega company who recruited her. The sister is the villain here, and the brother is complete again,
which we find out later.
A complete dupe, doesn't know anything about what's going on in his own company, of course. But
yeah.
But the sister, I think she chose Elastigirl for a reason. I don't know that the filmmakers got that across exactly. It's confusing. It's just like, well, we need to switch it from the first movie. Now it's Elastigirl and he's staying home.
Right.
And there's no solid reason. There's no justification for it.
Well, right.
Why not both of them?
But the movie does give the hint. Yes, the villain may have had ulterior motives for wanting her there that weren't really clear. I didn't get what those motives might be, but they did allude to the fact that he causes a lot of damage.
Right.
And she doesn't. So she'd be a better mascot. That is the dumbest idea I think Pixar has ever come up with. Because
Beats Ratatouille.
that was just boring. Not dumb, just boring for me. But so if you're at least going to have that dumb idea, it's a dumb idea to begin with, because superheroes are only out there to stop. He's not running around and breaking stuff on purpose to try to thwart a bad guy. He's trying to prevent a bad guy or bad girl from causing damage, and there's just all this collateral damage with structures and whatnot, right?
Right.
And she was a part of that in the big opening scene. She was a part of it. So how could they justify that he... Well, then somebody mentioned to me, oh, well, he's known for causing damage in all his other crime-fighting things. You really need to show him being reckless. If you're going to justify sticking him... I mean, there's crime where people can be murdered, and you say, no, you stay home with the kids. But I could help people from being murdered. Nope, you stay home with the kids. You cause too much damage. But I'm preventing... The damage would be orders of magnitude worse if they weren't there to stop it. It is the silliest, dumbest, I want to say effing plot. It drove me nuts right at the beginning of the movie when they established why he stayed home and why she went out. I wanted to scream in the theater how stupid the whole antithesis, what gets the movie going, the plot of the movie is based on this idea that he has to stay home because he causes too much damage.
Maybe he was too good at his job and they wanted someone who, kind of like a weak female that they could push around.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. Pixar, Disney.
Yeah.
What was the choice? What was the reason for the choice other than just plot reasons? I think it was just plot reasons.
It was just let's get...
We need Elastigirl doing this, and we need him at home with the kids, and that's...
Can we
fine,
bring
you got to justify it, though.
A screenwriter in?
That's the minor problem with this movie, in my opinion.
Okay, let's
very minor.
Let's jump over to you. Give me a problem.
Oh God. Well, this is The Incredibles. It's not The Incredibles 2. It's The Incredibles. It's the same plot. It's a rich company hiring one of the parents and taking them away and to do something presumably good, but it ends up being bad. That's all this is. It is the same movie. It was great in The Incredibles because it was kind of new. We hadn't seen it before, but in this movie, it's like we got to go to this familiar ground. It's very safe. It's very easy for people to digest because they've seen it before and they liked it. It was 14 years ago. Maybe nobody even remembers the original.
I think that's what they're hoping.
And we're doing a soft reboot kind of like Star Wars did, or whatever. It's bullshit. It's terrible. It's terrible. Stop. Number 2, or you want to address that?
No, go for it.
Number 2.
I totally agree.
That's the worst part of this movie to me. Number 2, which is really bad, is the 3 action scenes that are exactly the same action scene. Major action scenes.
They're the main scenes in the movie.
At the very beginning, a little into the movie, maybe toward the middle, and at the very climax end of the movie action scene.
The same scene
we are stopping a really big or really dangerous vehicle from causing destruction and death. That's it, all 3 times. And if you've seen the movie, think about it. Giant drilling machine plowing through the city. Super fast lev train full of people, shooting through the city. It's got to be stopped. Out of control. Same thing. Third thing. What's out of control? A giant ship, a yacht or something, and it's going to hit the city and do something. I don't know. Maybe somebody will fall down on the boat and they'll go, oh, oops. Or the people will all be killed on the boat. Was there a bomb on the boat? I don't know. But all 3 things, same thing. And it's going right toward the city. It's threatening the city, I guess.
All it's going to do is threaten the dock and do a little damage to the boat.
It'll bump into the dock. There'll be, like a bunch of giant rocks piled up.
The boat will be wrecked. Boats are made really flimsy.
And maybe it'll go inland a little bit, and maybe the people on board will get killed. I don't know. It was so unclear what the threat was.
If the boat hit the pier as fast as it could, it wouldn't do much damage.
Really, this is the climax. Remember the climax of the original movie.
Tell me.
There was a giant robot attacking the city, and they were all gathered around fighting. There was something to fight. And yes, there's things on the ship that they have to fight. There's these controlled... Another one of Phil's favorite little things, but the guys have these glasses. All the superheroes have these glasses on that turn them into robots, turn them into completely automated, remote-controlled robots. And they're causing trouble, and they're a threat, right? And,
Sort of a threat.
And Elastigirl has hers on, and, you know...
In superhero movies, when you want to be a lazy writer, instead of coming up with a dilemma for the superheroes to deal with, or a really interesting antagonist for the superheroes to deal with, you just throw another superhero at them.
Well, that's number 3 for me.
That's
the
what
antagonist.
they did. But that's what the antagonist
Actually,
is.
the antagonist is probably number 2 on the list of just
it's
terrible things. And
horrible.
then number 3 is the 3 stupid action scenes.
Yeah.
The antagonist in this movie is garbage. It's just like some behind the scenes hacker.
Yeah.
And she frames some other guy by putting glasses on him, some pizza delivery guy, and Elastigirl defeats him easily, and that's it. Yay, she won. But not really, because why was she doing this? Why was she... Oh, there's some plot about her parents getting killed.
Her parents, her father was killed, and...
He tried to call superheroes instead of calling the police.
But they weren't able to save him.
Yeah.
So because any emergency system fails you, it should be outlawed. It should be removed because maybe it won't. It will never be able to help
It's
you or
basically
anybody else again.
a difference of opinions between the rich brother and the rich sister who own the company.
Right.
He believed in superheroes. She believed they should stay outlawed. He believed they should not be outlawed, and that was it. That was the gist of the whole movie, and for that, the sister was, you know, causing horrible damage to the city and potentially
really,
killing.
Potentially
how many people? I don't know.
Lots of people.
Dozens, maybe, on the ship.
Well, like G.I. Joe, nobody really gets hurt. But
Well, that's fine. That's
but potentially
someone
causing...
did get her in the first movie though.
And
a lot of guys got killed. A lot of superheroes got killed off screen. Yeah, but you know there was real weight to that.
Yeah.
What Syndrome was doing. He was really evil, and then he died in the end. He got sucked into the jet. Right? No capes.
Yeah. Right.
It's brilliant. This movie's just like there's no villain. It's a non-villain. It's like the Mandarin from the Iron Man movie 3, I think. It's not even a villain. It's just like this thing that someone created, and it's not real.
What this movie relies on is a bunch of semi-entertaining scenes that sort of, some of them more entertaining than others. But there's no villain and no main plot thread to deal with. Like, here you go, Baby Jack, funny, cute. But ultimately, laziest writing. Instead of thinking of a funny joke or a funny plot to involve the baby in, just, the baby's fighting some random raccoon while the dad's helping the, son with homework. So, how cute is this that the baby's fighting the raccoon?
It was a funny scene.
It was my favorite scene in the movie, but it's just like the laziest writing because the baby does something cute and then giggles, hee hee hee, and it's cute and it's funny.
You just don't like kids.
But it's not part of any main plot thread. So having that scene is fine, but and then so they establish that the baby has like all these powers, and I thought for sure then something really cool is going to happen in the end with a big fight or a big... No, it's just a boat, and they at the end, and it stopped it from hitting the dock, so it doesn't cause a couple $100 worth of damage. And the baby, the whole problem, the plot of the movie and the antagonist with the stupid goggles. Why didn't the bad guy think that the goggles? Nobody would ever figure out that it's the goggles, or just learn to run up and grab some goggles off of somebody's face. So lots of problems with the villain, but the problem with the whole story and Baby Jack is set up all these wild powers. Can we use them in the end? Sort of. Ex Deus Machina here. The baby saves the day accidentally. Yeah, they're trying to stop a boat from hitting the pier. You whoop-de-doo. But the real plot of the movie is to get the goggles off people's face, to disable the mind control technology.
He Anakin'd it.
He was just wandered into the room accidentally. He wanders into the room. And, oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, he's looking for mommy. But
Looking for
maybe
mommy.
he knew where she was.
Saw mommy there.
Why didn't he just teleport to her? I don't know.
Right. Mommy's there. Oh, mommy. And then just does telekinesis because the baby knows? Like, could the baby just done telekinesis and knocked her hair up? You know, maybe, knocked
Didn't
a
like the
treat,
glasses.
knocked a lollipop out of her pocket or something that he wanted. I mean, what? I mean, it's just so stupid. The baby knew? Just accidentally, the baby telekinesis her glasses off her head. That saved everybody. That was all the conflict built up throughout the entire 2 hours, or say hour and 45 before the boat goes, into the pier. Hour and 45 building up, and baby accidentally telekinesis glasses off her head. That saves the day. Ex Deus Machina, power of God, accident happens, and everybody's saved.
Yeah, there's so many problems here. We could go on all day.
Yeah.
I have one final little thing to say.
Let's do it.
And at the very beginning of this movie, where basically we leave off from the first movie and immediately start the second movie. Right? I don't know if you remember the first movie.
Yeah.
Jack
It just picks up.
or Dash's track meet, and he's running too fast, no, too slow, and he wins, or he takes second place. And then the big giant drilling machine comes out of the ground, and the underminer's there, and that's the end of the movie. They all get into action pose, and it's like, bam, Incredibles. And now we start off, and they defeat the thing. They go, they go through the whole vehicle out of control, and they finally stop it. And then they get picked up by the CIA or something. I don't know what the agency's supposed to be, but this is the old guy that sort of takes care of them.
Yeah.
And he says, there's no more budget, or we can't do this anymore, and drops them at a motel. Why did he drop them at a motel? Did they live at that motel? Because from where we picked up, it was 3 months after the jet crashed into their house and destroyed the house.
Right.
3 months later, on the title card, so were they living in a motel or did they have a house? And if so, maybe the CIA or whoever it was thought, oh, okay, we can't put them back in the same house because we've got to. But then they just dump them at a motel. So okay, there's that. That's stupid. And then from there, they meet the rich sister and brother, and they just basically go to a house, one of his houses. And that is the boringest thing they could have done with this story. It's a minor thing, but it's like you've got the whole world where they could go to. They could go to Frozone's house and live with him a little bit. They could go to Edna, the costume designer, live with her a little bit maybe. Yeah. They could go to Mr. Incredible's parents' house and meet the superhero grandparents, or Elastigirl's parents' house, or somewhere else. Maybe Mr. Incredible's friend from super college, who's weird and he introduces them to something. There's just nothing. They're in a house and they're by themselves, and it's boring.
Yes.
And it's lazy.
And quickly looking at...
That's this movie.
If you look at all the characters, too, just real quickly. So we already established that the dad is just painted as the dumb, lovable father, right? The stereotypical father, who really does nothing in the movie after, helping the kids with the homework. I mean, he's involved a little bit with running around, but he quickly, he gets glasses on at the end, and then he's going to turn the rudder on the boat to get it to turn. I mean, simple stuff, like nothing of any essence to the movie. The daughter is the same as she was in the first movie.
Yeah.
She's the same at the beginning.
I'm telling you, it's the same movie.
And the end of this movie.
The kid
it's worse.
Does nothing.
But it's worse
because they have nothing for him to do.
The little brother.
The brother, yeah.
The brother. at least in the first one, he had some stuff to do and some motivation. In this, he is nothing. They make him a little jerk.
He didn't want to win. He wanted to win at the track thing, and they were telling him, no, you can't go too fast. And he put the tack on the teacher's chair to see if he could do it so fast that no one could see it. Mm-hmm. You know, he had a character.
Yeah.
He was an annoying little kid, but still, he just sat around and made fun of his sister in this one.
He was annoying. He was just like, oh, he's the annoying brother. And all the male characters in this movie were like that. The brother of the antagonist was just,
there's a pattern. I'm seeing it.
I'm too dumb to notice what's going on in my company. The dad, I'm too dumb to raise the kids on my own, and I'm too destructive. The little brother, oh, I'm the annoying little brother. While the sister and the mother's got to have all the answers, and they come in and
the sister's just the same thing too. She's this angsty teenager who has to go through the whole thing of being embarrassed and meeting that boy again because the CIA guys wiped his mind. They did a Men in Black thing on him. It's like, because we got nothing to do with these characters because they're in this house by themselves and it's boring.
And especially in an animated movie, you could go anywhere and do anything.
It's animated. You can come up with anything. And this is it's a domestic kind of like, washing the dishes. And, Jack's teleporting around. Okay, that's kind of fun.
There's a couple of popular review channels out there.
We need to wrap it up. I'm getting tired of this.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of popular review channels out there. And one of them, I remember saying, they said that they loved this movie because they loved the contrast of them showing how they could be superheroes out in the world, you know, fighting crime and doing things, but then also being a parent is being a superhero.
The first movie did that.
We've already seen this. Let's see some new stuff. But anyways, let's give grades. What would you give this movie?
Well, overall, I had some fun with it. And again, visually it looks great. The actors are all good. The animation's great. And, you know, it's just basic. It's just a basic story that we've already seen. I'm at about a C+, I guess. I enjoyed it a little bit. It wasn't complete. It wasn't garbage. It was, like you said, it was
not garbage.
You know, it's not the worst thing Pixar has done either, in my opinion. But who cares in the end? Sort of like Coco. I don't care.
Don't need to see it again.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so C+ for you, and I'm.
Where are you at?
I'm gonna give it a C just to be generous. I want to give it a C- because of how almost blatantly lazy
it's really
a copy of the previous movie, and just going from scene to scene and looking for justification of characters' actions. It's a nightmare. It's a logical nightmare, and it just drives you nuts when you're watching it. And you just go, oh, well, at least there's a cute baby, and he giggles, and he fights a raccoon, and some other fun stuff happens. But
damn it, Pixar! What happened?
I know.
And now we're gonna get Toy Story 4. Are they gonna mess that up too?
I hope they don't mess up that franchise, because that's one of the ones I like. All three of the first movies. But all right. Well, there you go.
There you go. Go see it. You'll love it.
Go see it. I'm sure you'll give it an A.
Goo goo gaga.
But
damn it, Pixar! What happened?